What's up, guys? So, I meant to post this backsplash a while back. I ended up doing a full time lapse on this. I think the whole backsplash only took about an hour and a half, and I ended up filming this on the Pivo mount, which if you don't have it, you can see the remote there in the shot. It's an awesome little stand for the money. It actually just tracks your movement. You can focus it on your face or your body, and that's what you're seeing here with this little camera following me around. But yeah, this backsplash was super simple. It was only I don't know, I think it was 25, maybe 25 square feet, beveled subway. I ended up starting on the center line. Had very few cuts to make. The top row there that you're seeing me put on right now, you see how it's kind of wedged. Everything to the left is about 1/8 of an inch low, so I'll have to trim those. But other than that, it was pretty straightforward. So with the outlets, right? I should have probably slowed this down, but I'll just keep it in the 10 times speed. I'm cutting them all on a grinder. I mark all my outlets as I go, and I put them in. When I'm billing a customer for a backsplash, I usually do between $25 and $45 a square foot, depending on the material, and $25 an outlet. So if there's if there's 4 outlets, that's $100. 5 outlets, $125, and so on and so forth. And you can see why here. I mean, I'm at 10 times speed, so it's going to take me a few minutes to get this thing cut and put in maybe 2-3 pieces, So I charge $25 for maybe 10 minutes worth of work. It works out labor-wise. And the other thing about that Pivo mount, you can see it zooming in and out the further away I get. I highly recommend the mount. I'm not sponsored by Pivo, but it's a really good product if you're filming by yourself on jobs. But yeah, let me see if I can talk for about 10 minutes straight. At the end of this video, I put in the finished photos of the project. The island that you're sitting on right now was actually just raw drywall, and they wanted shiplap on that. So after we finished with this backsplash, I did a quick shiplap job with some trim, and that came out really nice. You'll see that as well. If you look up at the top there on the right side, when I move over to the right, little gap in the cabinets. I ended up doing some caulking work for these people as well. We ran 2 rows down below the stove as well. There's not much to talk about on this project because it's so simple, but I figured doing a voiceover was better than leaving you guys with a 10-minute video where I'm not saying anything or explaining anything. What I'm doing there is I'm wiping my joints as I go. I don't use mastic often, but if it's a painted drywall, simple backsplash, and subway, I'll use mastic. Everything else, I usually try to use a premium mortar, premium thin set, but with subway tile on drywall, mastic really is the best product. Other than that, I think it's an awful product because people think it's a setting material that can be used on anything, and it can't. You can't use mastic in a shower ever. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what the bucket says. You cannot use mastic in a shower. It is an organic material. It will grow mold and bacteria. You do not want that. Always use thin set in a shower. You can't use mastic over waterproofing. It's a air cure product. So if you use it on a large tile, even if it's in a dry area, the center of that tile is not allowing any air to get to it, so it'll stay wet forever. Just all in all, the only time you will see me using mastic is on this type of project. Subway tile on drywall. And these outlets, they went pretty easy. One thing that I didn't account for, I centered my layout on the long run, and when I walked it out, it looked like it was landing perfectly on the right side, which it was. So I just went with it. When I end up getting to this little area over the stove, I was about 1/4 inch off to the right on a sliver, right? So there was a little tiny sliver, 1/4 inch cut on the left. Now, I was already at this point when I figured it out. So, every problem has a solution. I ended up using the same shaker style trim that you're seeing on the cabinet doors to get rid of that, and it ended up looking amazing. So no harm, no foul. And that only took me about, maybe 15 minutes to just buy a piece of flat stock, and you glue it right on with some liquid nail. You'll see what I'm talking about in a minute. I'll explain it. But there was going to be a sliver cut at the top, and there was going to be a sliver cut on the left side over the stove. And if I had factored it in originally, I could have shifted my whole entire layout over a 1/4 of an inch and got rid of it. These are just oversights that happen. You can't be perfect, but like I said, there's a solution to every problem if you want to have a good aesthetic look at the end. And once again, you'll see what I mean in a minute when we get to that left side, and then how I fixed it towards the end. So the thing about subway tile is it's like dealing cards. They're lugged or spaced, and there's so many grout joints that they are the one product that you don't really need to use spacers. You have very by-the-book guys who take everything that the NTCA says completely literally. They don't have any room for interpretation. So they will use spacers because the book says you have to use spacers 1/16 on every single tile. I can promise you this is the one time where I will say don't do it by the book, but the tiles, they will not pop off the wall. There are so many grout joints, and they are lugged, which means that there is basically a built-in spacer. You will never have an issue. When you're doing tile, you always have to have a space so you can allow for movement. And by movement, I mean micro movements. This is something that you're not talking about the whole house shifting at one time. It's just slight micro adjustments over time with expansion, contraction, and whatever. But with a subway backsplash or a subway shower, you will be fine. Focus on your corners and your movement joints. But as far as the tiles being butted together, it won't be any different than putting a gauge thin panel porcelain tile on the wall where it's all monolithic and nothing happens there. As long as you have movement in your corners, you're fine. There are no corners on this project, but I'm just giving you a little tip because I know a lot of people love to criticize every little detail, and somebody might see me not using spacers, and I'm explaining that I absolutely know that I'm not using spacers, but I also know that I'm a certified tile installer with the National Tile Contractors Association, CTI 1410, and you can sit down. I got this. If you see me putting my foot up there on the counter, there is plastic on the counter. I would not put my foot on somebody's counter without covering it up. You can't really see it, but it is there. I use the painter's tape with plastic, that roll that you can just pull out the drape, and it works great for backsplashes. You just run it right at the edge of the wall, do your thing, and then pull it, throw it away when it's done. A lot of guys use movers, blankets, or tarps, or tape and cardboard. As long as you're not dropping heavy tools on something, and as long as you're careful, you're not going to damage the counter, so a roll of plastic is just fine. And as you can see, I'm moving real quick on this one. I mean, hour and 36 minutes, I believe it was, on the whole backsplash. Took a couple hours to, grout it, clean it up, and add that shaker-style trim. But we're getting pretty close to the end here. And then I'll show you the finished photos. And you can see that badonkadonk right there with my 9mm on the right. It's a nice, good shot for you guys. If you listen to me this long, we got to the part where I'm losing things to talk about, so I'm just talking about my ass. It is a nice ass, though. I've had good reviews. All right, so I think once I get back in from this little trip, we got a couple little pieces, and then it's going to go right into the finished photos. So pay attention here, and we'll wrap it up. One more piece, and there she is. Every tile set. There we go, guys. Completely finished, grouted, caulked, cleaned. There's the island that we wrapped in shiplap. Came out amazing. Both these projects only took a couple days. Appreciate you watching the video. See you later.